Moore Street in Dublin today is an iconic street market, but it is a place of historical importance, as it had a role in the 1916 Easter Rising.
This street is a great of historical importance. These buildings behind me were occupied in 1916 by the GPO garrison that left the building, the headquarters, which was on fire. Number 10 there, the house on that corner there, was on Friday of Easter week the general hospital and the general headquarters of the GPO garrison. Through the rest of that night they tunnelled from house to house until they had occupied the whole terrace. The state now wants to save only 4 buildings and says that the other buildings are of no value. They were challenged in that in the court case, and the court case, the judge found that the whole quarter is not just this 16 houses which we were saying, but the whole quarter as well is of historical value and a historical monument and should be preserved. However, the Minister for Heritage, and that's an irony that she has that title, is actually appealing that decision, so wanting to go ahead, so far anyway, with the plan to knock down some buildings on each side here. Meanwhile, a speculator wants to knock down all the buildings except for those 4 and make some kind of a small museum in the middle of a big shopping centre, maybe next to a Starbucks and a McDonald's.
We also talked to Proincius O'Rahilly, the grandson of the founder of the Irish Volunteer Force in 1916, who was shot in Moore Street, and who has spearheaded the campaign of preservation of Moore Street on strong family reasons ground. Proincius, you are a representative of one of the families involved in the rising in 1916.
That's right.
And also in the history of Moore Street and all the controversy about preservation of Moore Street, etc.
Yeah.
Can you tell us your relationship with one of the patrons?
Yes, I'm a grandson of Leo O'Rahilly. He was the co-founder of the Volunteers, which was founded firstly the meetings were in Wynn's Hotel in Dublin in 1914, and then they were founded in the Rotunda Hospital up on Parnell Square.
Your grandfather, the O'Reilly, called the O'Reilly, was shot in Moore Street.
That's right.
And during the time when, in fact, the volunteers had moved from the GPO to Moore Street, and at the place where they surrendered eventually.
Yes.
Right. So, where is your grandfather buried?
Well, he's the only leader of 1916 who's actually buried in Glasnevin.
Oh, yes.
Along his cousin is down next to him there, you know, in the Republican plot.
Yes.
Kevin Barry is just next to him there, as you can indicate. But having said about the evacuation to the GPO, my grandfather led the first evacuation to the GPO before the garrison left it, which was around 350 men. But unfortunately, when he led the charge down Moore Street, he was unaware of the machine gun on the bottom of Moore Street.
Tell me something. Tell me about at what stage is this campaign that you have spearheaded to preserve Moore Street as a national monument?
Yes. Well, we have taken it to the High Court. It was an arduous process. But
when did it start?
Oh, it started, well, in the High Court it started last January, but the whole campaign is going 16 years. 16 years, right. Which is a long time. But with the likes of my great friend, Jim Connolly, Perrin, he just never gives up, and he asked me to come aboard, and I was glad, very glad to come aboard with him on this High Court case with Colin Moore. We took the case, and we were just appalled to see that the state had, as the senior counsel with the state and Minister Humphreys, they had a grandson of Owen MacNeill. You know, you couldn't write it in history. I mean, here we are sitting, the relatives behind our barristers and solicitor, and he's standing then under the judge. But the judge did go down to Moore Street, which I think was a great thing.
Yeah.
And he viewed a video I had made with Jim Connolly.
Yes.
And he took a great interest in it. And we were lucky that way, that he did take such an interest in it. And he actually viewed the battlefield areas, we call it, and the evacuation route, and where my grandfather bled to death on Sackville Lane, which is now called O'Reilly Parade, where we have the plaque. That was the last note he wrote back home. And he just decided that because of its historical importance, that he was going to put a listing on the certain buildings, apart from the 4 that it took us 16 years to save.
But the thing has not been finalised.
Well, the thing about it is we have moved on. I mean, he has made a ruling that those other new buildings are listed. So now it's up to the minister to see whether she's going to launch an appeal or not. But our argument is, with the new opening of the GPO museum, and there are hundreds of people coming every day down Moore Street to see the actual battlefield. My belief, and Jim Connolly Heron's belief, and the rest of the campaigners, is that this new €12 million museum will have to be linked to the battlefield. And Dublin is unique in that it has the only urban battlefield in Europe, if not the world, of the main thoroughfare.
Well, I wish you all good luck.
Well, thank you very much.
Okay,
Thank you very much. Thank you.